Morning everyone, thanks for joining me for Coffee and Card at Home. So today is week 3 using the Handmade Wishes bundle, which is this lovely stamp set, and then the Handmade Tag punch that goes with it. And we had a week off last week because we had the unexpected bank holiday, obviously for the Queen's funeral. So we're just catching up today. So today's week 3, and then I'll also be doing week 4 today because this is actually the end of the month already. I can't quite believe it. So we'll be starting a new month of Coffee and Card next week. And we're using one that I can't wait to use, the little Scotty dog set. So that will be our next one for the next 4 weeks. So first of all, I'm just going to take my card base. So this is a piece of Crumb Cake, which is half of an A4 sheet. That's 14.8 centimetres and then scored at 10.5 centimetres to give us our C6 card base. And this is the card we're making, so you can see we're in landscape today. And we're going to create our background using the stamps in the set, and then obviously a little tag to put on the front. So first of all, we're just going to take a few of the stamps that we need to do our background, and I have used the Christmas, For You, and then the little gingerbread man. And the colour that I decided to stamp with, because I thought it was quite a good gingerbread colour, is Cajun Craze. So this is a pattern that's kind of in brick bond style, meaning that not everything is lined up. So last week we did a card with a background where we lined everything up, although obviously I did say you could adjust it if you wanted to, but this time we're doing it the other way where we're putting it in brick bond, so you'll see what I mean as we go along. So I could fit about 6 lines in roughly on this card. Don't worry if your bottom line ends up being a little bit off, it's not a problem. And I'm just going to by eye judge where I think the middle is and pop my gingerbread man in the middle there. Then I'm going to take Christmas, and that one is going to go at the side of him. And then I'm going to put another gingerbread man or gingerbread woman, whatever you prefer, at the end of that line. Don't worry if they're not perfectly lined up, it honestly will not matter too much. And then I'm using For You on this side, and then another gingerbread man. Now once we've got that pattern going, you'll be able to see how the rest of the card is going to take shape, because what we're going to do now is we're going to just move everything around slightly. So I'm going to have Christmas now in the middle, underneath the gingerbread man. I'm not having to clean my stamps in between all of this either, which is quite handy. And then a gingerbread man on the side there. Oops, that hasn't stamped out, sorry, very well. That might be where my sentiment will go at the end. And another one that's done the same. Never mind. It all adds to the rustic look, doesn't it? Then we're going to put For You on this side. And you can see some of it ends up being slightly off, but it doesn't matter. And For You on that side. So you can see how the lines are going to build up. So now we're going to go back to the next row. Now once you get this pattern going, if you felt confident enough, you could stamp the other gingerbread men all in one go where you think they should go. But if you're not sure, I would stick to just working in lines. If like me you're just a bit worried about going wrong, or you just think you haven't quite sussed out the space you need yet, then stick with this idea. But like I say, you don't need to clean all of your stamps in between because you're just using the same ink. So it's just getting that pattern going. See, I've ended up with a half a gingerbread man there, but to be quite honest, it really won't matter by the time you get to the end. It's kind of one of those free kind of designs where it is just literally to create a background, and if it's a little bit imperfect, I don't think it really matters too much. So and there's always a way of hiding our mistakes, isn't there, with crafting, which is a good thing. So hopefully, when I've done this line, I should be able to fit in 2 more lines, hopefully. And if for any reason you did go wrong and you got your words in the wrong order or whatever, it's one of those kind of backgrounds that's quite forgiving, so nobody would probably even notice. And I think that's the nice thing about handmade cards, is they're not entirely perfect, but that's why we like them. Right, last line then. Now I should be able to fit Christmas in, and depending on how close you've put them together, you might need to have your images just slightly off of the card, but just have a look at that and see when you get to the end. There we go. So there's a few imperfections on there, but to be honest, I don't think you can notice them ever so much. So I'm just going to clean off my stamps. I always like to try and get a bit of the ink off actually on my grid paper first, before I then clean it with my stamping scrub, so it doesn't make it quite so dirty. I'm just going to close that for a second, just because I do not want to tempt fate with putting my arm in it or anything. So for the next bit, if I bring back my original, we're going to cut out the tag now. Now, just because of the way it is and how I've done it, for this I think I'm going to do it so that I cut it out first. Normally, with the majority of stamps, I actually don't do that, and I stamp first and then cut out, but because of the way this one is, I think it would just lends itself better to doing it the other way around. So I've just brought it into view so you can see what we're looking to achieve. So we're going to go back with the gingerbread man, and we are going to place 3 of them in the middle of the card. So I'm just going to try and by eye figure out where my man's likely to go. So that hopefully they are all as close to the middle as possible. If you really wanted to, you could obviously measure them as well. And then we're just going to use some real red to just stamp the sentiments. So I've got the tiny sentiment that says wishing you, which I'm going to just place above the gingerbread man. And then I've got the open kind of line one, but you could use the filled in one if you wanted to, that says joy. There's a whole load of others you could choose from. You could have love or peace, or you could change it completely and just have something that just like says Merry Christmas or whatever. It's entirely up to you. And then the nice thing about this is you could make a matching tag to go with it that you could put on a present. So you could then give the card and the present together. Now, just to finish this off, I have just used a few gems just to put in the corners of the tag. And this is if I can find the colours that I want. Here we go, some green ones. You can obviously use whatever colour you like, really. So I'm just going to lift those off with either a pokey tool, or in this case I've got my take your pick tool, and just pop those on each of the ends of the tag. There we go. And then the last bit to do now is just to assemble everything. So you can see here I decided to place my tag on that side. I think that was because I had a little bit of a blemish behind that I wanted to hide. This time I've got so many blemishes, who knows where I want to put it, but you could try it in a few different places. And of course this card would work just as well doing it portrait and having all your words going that way. So it's quite a flexible card. I think I'm still going to go over this side. Hopefully it will detract from some of these little stamping errors that I've got over there. And I'm just going to use a little bit of the red ribbon, the satin ribbon that we've got. I used some of the crinkly ribbon on my other card, but sadly that one has run out. So I'm just going to measure enough that I can put it behind my my tag. So all I've done is I've crossed it over like that and then stuck that on the front. So you can, if you want to, just secure that with a glue dot just so that it doesn't move. I'll just find mine. And then I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. So I'm using a few of my scraps up at the moment. I do like to try and use everything, so I've got some of the edges that I'm just using. Okay, so I've just sort of put 4 on each edge and then 1 in the centre, and then hopefully they will help to grip my ribbon in place as well. So if I just lay my ribbon behind and then pop that over the top where I want it to go, and it is just a little bit long, so I'm just going to trim those edges off. There we go. And that's that card finished. So just a quick recap, we have used the Handmade Wishes stamp set and the Handmade Tag punch together. We've used Cajun Craze and Real Red ink. The card base was Crumb Cake with a scrap of basic white just to create our tag, and then I've used a little bit of the red satin ribbon and some green pearls is what they are, and our adhesives were dimensionals and glue dots. No Tombow today either. which makes it really unusual. So I hope you'll have a go at that. If you've got any questions, please drop me a message, or if you'd like to order anything, then please drop me a message as well, and I will arrange to get that sorted for you. So I will see you shortly for week 4. Take care, have a good week. Bye.